Music can seem pretty daunting. It can be expensive, time intensive, and maybe you just don't have the materials for it. But unconventional percussion instruments are here to save the day. With just 5 minutes a day, get down to just playing any percussive beat on a bucket. This bucket can mimic a drum set, it can mimic really anything. Maybe not notes, you will need pipes for that, but we won't be going into that today. First, materials I recommend would be a practice pad or some kind of thing to dampen your bucket. This way you can practice these techniques without having to be loud, in case you have roommates or just don't want to have a loud noise while you're practicing, so you can listen to yourself. Then you would also actually need sticks. These sticks are around $30 to $40. They're Vickfirth SD1 sticks that I bought from a local music store. They're available online on the web store, vickfirth.com, and they're also available on other online stores if you shop online through Amazon. On the other hand, if you don't have Vickfirth sticks, or you don't want to buy these for $30 to $40, in case that's too expensive for a hobby, you can also just get sticks with wooden spoons, tongs, and other kitchenware, even chopsticks. To mimic these sticks, you can also get some tape around to mimic the center of mass of these sticks being around here. I'll get into the center of mass later. This is pretty important. Next, we'll need a bucket or something to play on. It's going to be a cardboard box. I have this from a local school, but you can buy this from a local hardware store, online again, you can shop through stuff like Amazon. And it's get a variety of sounds just from being a bucket. And you also need something to play around. If you are playing in like a carpeted area, I would recommend moving to a harder floor, because the harder floor will allow you to hit a hi-hat like sound. Not like an actual cymbal, but just give a beat like a hi-hat. Now with that in mind, let's look over some technique. Bring a this practice pad, a towel, whatever you want, maybe even a counter just to practice on. We'll be looking at some technique. With these sticks, these legs are not the center of mass, and we actually want to flick our wrist and have the gravity guide our stick. Our wrist is guiding the gravity to hit the drum and bounce through it. We don't want to use our arms too much, so once you get used to just having the stick hit the drum, you want to start using your wrist. So if you use your arms a lot, it will tire your arms out. To get used to this, a practice method I would recommend in your 5-minute routine would be the 8 on the hand. That way, you can get used to having your hands just flick the stick down and not have to do this with much effort. A lot of percussion is actually doing things without much effort, so you don't have to get tired of this. Now, I'll be going to some patterns now. These patterns you won't get the first time until you get a lot more comfortable with using sticks to hit with a bucket, but first, let's go over some sounds to actually use in these patterns. With my bucket, I have a bassy sound if I hit the middle. Most buckets can hit the middle, raise it up a little bit, and you get a very deep sound. Then you get a snare sound if you hit the middle and the edge at the same time. Next will be rim clicks. These are pretty straightforward. You just hit the rim. And then you get a kick sound if you hit the side of the drum. Again, your environment, your friends. Depending on your walls, you might get a nice deeper sound if you have hollow walls. Although I'll be careful depending on where you hit, so you don't punch a hole through drywall. And with that, you can hit the 4-foot hi-hat like I mentioned. And let's get into our first practice. It'll be just a snare and a bass hit. So your right hand will be doing do, 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 do. I recommend singing these out loud first, because drum speed can allow you to just lock into that beat, and anything you can sing, you can play. So, with your left hand spin a hi-hat, and let your body feel this. You don't have to be super stoic, you just feel it out and keep playing. Practice these separately, and you can master it and mix them together to get this kind of music. Now let's add an augmentation on top of that. So your right hand is playing do, 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 do. But what if we added more? So do, 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 do. Anything can work, anything goes. But you can just have your right hand add more to line up with the hi-hat and just lock it. That's how the a slight augmentation, but there's many more to come. You can always add just do, 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 do. Anything you can do, anything goes. And once you get used to that first pattern, you can augment it and just offset your beats a little bit, like what I just did now, add more, and just blend into the next measure. Just play whatever you want, and don't be too worried about when I say measure, which are just 4 beats in a row. That is more for complex composition, and that's not super important today. Next, I'll be looking at 16th notes if you just play them on both hands on the rim. If you just accent some random parts of your hand, but then keep it consistent so your hands memorize basically where you accented. So dig it, 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 dig it. Drum kick again. And once you get used to that, you don't even have to count it, but you will want to say it out loud maybe at first, just to get that locked in. I'll just be going over that specific pattern, but you can have other patterns to go on. This way, you can go to other instruments. So once you have these accents locked down on your rim, you can actually transition to going to other instruments. I'll just be going to bass sound for now. What's really important is that you don't get stuck doing accents in all of these. It will start sounding the same and boring. And then once you get used to just playing on another instrument once, you can try to mix it around with using your kick, maybe your slim snare, maybe some tom action, which is just the bass in the middle, you need the bass hit and the drum click. So. Change to make that sound super interesting. Now with that in mind, with those 2 sets you can do, the snare and the bass, and the 16th note pattern, along with the technique, in just 5 minutes, you can just master that technique. Maybe another day, do the 2, the bass snare, and the 16th note pattern, and just get along with doing this for a ride. It doesn't take up too much time. Just do this in your own room, and you can just sit up with your practice pad. You can also rim click, and if you have a towel to just cover your bucket, that's fine too. With that in mind, 5 minutes a day, cheap materials, and a non-intensive practice routine, you don't have to invest too much into music and still have a lot of fun and get good at playing buckets. Thank you for listening to my speech.